us now to talk about how these kind of decisions will play out, assuming that this could be extended to private e-commerce players as well. I'm speaking now with Mr. Ramesh Abhishek, a career bureaucrat who has recently retired as Secretary of DIPP, that's the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. Mr. Abhishek, welcome to the show and great to speak to you. Hope you're doing well. Let me begin by asking why you think this is really necessary and what it will achieve to have, e-commerce sites, if this does go ahead, displays country of origin.
I think it will, be a more informed choice that consumers will make, and because you see, ultimately, consumers should know where the product is coming from. There's nothing wrong in that. So it will actually empower the consumers.
Yeah, but that's assuming that this decision has been made without the current context we are in. Clearly, the context is, what has been happening with China and the call for, boycotting goods made in China being made in some quarters, because it's those very people who are celebrating this decision as well. Do you think that it will lead to less people buying certain kinds of goods depending on where they come from?
I think, that is something that we don't know yet, what consumers will decide. But giving information on websites, on products, I think it's a good idea. If people know that product is originating from a particular country, it's your own country, some other country, it's additional information for the consumers. Whether they will buy more from a particular country, their own country, or some other country is something that they have to decide. But I think if such a move is there, I think it's a good idea. It's just empowering consumers with more information.
No, fine. Empowering consumers is fine. The question is, will consumers go for products which might not be as cheap? The true picture, Mr. Abhishek, and I would like some of your perspective on this, on how we've come to this situation, is that in a lot of very popular categories, electronics, etc., there is a flood of products which are made in China simply because they're cheaper and sometimes of good quality at that price. Why are we in this situation today? And will merely asking people to boycott such goods, for patriotic reasons be enough without giving alternatives quickly?
See, having your own manufacturing and buying products of your country is a sentiment. You see, ultimately, people have to decide what they want to do. So far as our industry is concerned, obviously, we have to be competitive. We are already competitive in many areas and many products. So that is something that people have to live with. And we must try continuously to improve our manufacturing quality as well as competitiveness. So that way, I think this effort is fine. But ultimately, of course, we all have to compete in the export market, in domestic market. Everywhere we have to compete.
Okay, I just want to understand in terms of policy, Mr. Abhishek, because you have been, working closely with this. Over the last few years, we have seen, in fact, an exponential rise in investments in FDI and in goods coming in from China. Why? Was this all part of policy? And did we misjudge that policy?
See, the FDI coming from any country is always, there has not been any as such, government policy that we don't want investments or anything from a particular country. There's no such policy as of now. And government generally has been trying to attract more investments to boost our manufacturing and other capacities in services and other sectors. So, it's a very globally capital moves only when they want to move. They find a country attractive enough because people have a lot of options. And our government for last 6 years has been trying to make India a more and more attractive investment destination. So I think this government has been really working hard in this area.
No, that is true, Mr. Abhishek. But I'm saying the investments that came in from China, not even just in terms of FDI, even funding in some of our most successful startups is in a great amount from Chinese companies and Chinese funds. Today, we're looking at all of it and figuring out how They are such a big part of our crucial economy and wondering what to do about it. But we always had this situation where, relations with China were uneasy. We've always had the situation at the LAC.
See, the government has not said that investments are not allowed from a particular country. That is not the policy of the government. The recent FDI circular that came, it only said that investments coming from country with a land border will require prior approval. So to that extent, I think there is absolutely no bar. The government has not said that investment from any country is barred.
No, agreed. And I don't even know if any government will specifically name a particular country, because then, you go into WTO issues and all of that. My question is not about what, the government has officially done or will not do. We'll have to wait and see what they do. My question, Mr. Abhishek, was what was the thinking? So far, we have wanted China to invest. We have drawn our lines where we need to in terms of Hawaii and all of that. But we've wanted China to invest. Today, there is a narrative and a questioning over whether this was such a good idea.
Well, see, there may be some discussion in public domain, but we also have to look at what the government policies are. So far, the government policies are there. They are actually investment-friendly policies have been made. And every government has a right to subject any kind of investment to prior scrutiny. That is a practice in all countries. Wherever they think that they want to do some more scrutiny, that is totally fine. It is in line with what all the countries are doing.
Okay, last question, Mr. Abhishek. In your view, do you see the kind of Chinese funding and FDI we have seen in the last few years continuing after the Galwan incident?
See, right now, I think it's too early to say anything, because investments have been coming to India because India was an attractive destination. People found that it pays them good profits and dividends to invest here in specific areas and sectors. So I think how things will pan out in future, we will wait and see. But the attractiveness of India as an investment destination continues. And everybody knows that we have a large market and we have a great pool of scientific and technical manpower, etc., etc. So I think that basic fundamentals are very strong for India. And what happens to a particular type of investments coming from one country is something that we all have to wait and see.
Let me just take the China focus away for a second and come to my next question, which is now we're talking about wanting to be an alternate investment destination for countries that may want to move out of other places, out of China, etc. We're now talking about reforms and very basic reforms which are required, single window clearances. But sir, these conversations and these efforts have been going on since ages. Why have they not come to fruition?
See, already you see in the last 6 years, if you see the growth of FDI in India, it has been quite substantial. As a matter of fact, in many of those years, when global FDI was actually seeing a fall, investment in India, FDI in India was growing in double digits. So I think efforts have borne fruit. It's not that there has been no result. Of course, we can all do better. Every country can do better. And the government is actually trying to do better.
What do you think our priority should be today to really be Atma Nirbhar and push Make in India?
See, the most important thing, of course, is that we have to improve our competitiveness. We have to we have to make sure that the costs involved are competitive. Today, industry has to pay a lot of money for carrying on freight by railways because of cross subsidies. Electricity costs are also higher for industry because of cross subsidies. So we have to bring down the cost of logistics. We have to bring down the overall tax burden, because other countries are actually providing a lot of support to their businesses. I think we need to compete with them. And like Vietnam and other countries who are providing significant incentives to foreign investors and manufacturers, we have to match those incentives. The government did try to bring down the corporate tax rate, which was a very heartening. But government recently has come out with a productivity-linked incentive scheme for mega electronics manufacturing. That, of course, is a very, very significant step in boosting our electronics manufacturing. Similarly, in other sectors also, we have to see that how do we match the incentives given by our competing countries. So that is what we have to see, and the government is already seized of the matter, and but we can always do better, and I guess we are trying to.
Right, Mr. Abhishek, thank you so much for speaking with us. The man with the ultimate inside experience of how the wheels of government machinery work, and giving us insight into what this new sort of thought process is to turn Atma Nirbhar. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
So will you make the choice of buying Indian regardless of the quality or the price? Probably for some time, maybe not permanently. It's imperative that we improve on both these factors to really give the rest of the world a tough fight. On that note, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on the India Development Debate. We'll see you back here tomorrow.